Okay, it says I'm live. I'm going to do a quick reality check, make sure it's true. Those of you that have been around for a while, you know I do this. And, okay. Good. Excellent. Everything seems to be working. What a concept. First comment was Bill, who just said, yo. It's amazing what happens when you remember to tell everybody. All right, I'm going to get that out of here. I only really put that up because it's rolled off the live stream. Live chat, rather. And put that back up. I got about 2 minutes to kill. So I'm just going to go over the checklist. Make sure you have your coffee, your tea, your cigarettes or other. Bluetooth if you need one, like I do. All that crap. Have it ready. This was kind of an odd week, in case any of you didn't notice. It wasn't a bad week. It's just odd. Hi, Squatch. So, yeah. I'm going to be going over some of that. All right. So, I'm less than a minute early. Let's get started. Welcome to 14 October 2021 live stream. As always, I am your host, the inestimable Mandatory Carry. Can't say the rest of the name on YouTube, but it rhymes with forget. I also can't say the other thing I've been called to my face. But it's a portmanteau for a word that rhymes with kite and another one that refers to black people in general. And I've been called that to my face. Now, of course, you can't say those two words on YouTube unless it's in black and white. And specifically, World War II film footage. World War II era. It doesn't have to be battle footage. But whatever. Call me what you want. I really don't give a fuck anymore. I'm at that point in my life. Morning, Alpine. Go ahead. I can take a whole lot more abuse than you'll ever be able to dish out. It's actually a challenge. And for those of you that might not know what's going on, which would be about half of you, I have in the live chat today the link to the StreamYard. This is literally a gauntlet thrown moment. I know you're watching, you little bastard. Come on in. Come face me. Come on. Let's do this thing. About a year ago, somebody did call me the three words. Rhymes with kite, plus refers to my genetic history, plus question of my manhood, I guess. Now, I know you're watching. All right. Just about everybody knows the subject matter that you were referring to. So come on. Let's do this thing. The rest of you, the actual human beings who would be watching this, you want to come in, come in. I think that this is going to become a permanent change. I've talked with Squatch before. I've emailed and chatted with Alpine quite a bit. And I've chatted with Vil a couple times. I don't have a reason to be afraid of them. And like 75% of the rest of you, I don't have a reason to be particularly worried. Some of you have some rough language. Well, so do I. And we need to watch our language, as Squatch pointed out to me, unfortunately. But other than that, come on in. And yes, I think this is going to become a permanent change. In the meantime, all right, I'm going to start with a very, very upsetting issue that is continuing to go on. Sometime earlier this week, and I don't know exactly what day, I believe it was Tuesday, a soldier was found dead behind his barracks at Fort Hood. What in the actual flying fuck is going on there? This is not an isolated incident. This isn't even the first incident in the last year. Might be the first incident this year. Probably isn't. I just didn't hear about the previous ones. I know there was a soldier who disappeared, but she reappeared, and she's going to be in trouble, and that's okay. She's not dead. And that might have something to do with why she reappeared, or why she disappeared at this point. I don't know. With everything else that's been going on down there, I have some reason to wonder. But it gets worse than that. Believe it or not, it gets worse than that. There was a soldier who was murdered last year, I believe it was. Excuse me, the year before. Amid some sexual harassment complaints. There was another one, I believe it was 4 months later, who ended up dead, who may have been a witness or a supporter of the accuser. He ended up dead. And there was at least one more who ended up dead. Now, under circumstances that may have absolutely nothing to do with any of that. But seriously, what in the actual flying fuck is going on down there? This is ridiculous. I should not hear the words Fort Hood and automatically assume somebody died. Now, who was it this time? There we go. Now, when I was at a school, we had a chief who was a little bit saltier than some of the people around him. That chief also had a seaman who's a little bit saltier than the people around him. And we had an incident. A couple of the guys in my A school class got a little bit crazy one night. They were really, really drunk. Like, really drunk. A few minutes later, they were fucking around in the passageway. A few minutes later, something else happened. One of them decided, a different classmate, decided he was going to try out his skateboard, making all kinds of hell and malcontent for us too. But it was much, much worse for the class below us, to the point where they actually complained to the OOD. The OOD came up. He has to wake up at 2 a.m. to come deal with this. He's not happy. I get that. He comes up, he deals with us. He takes the skateboard right then and there, because that's the one thing he saw. He didn't see the others fucking around. He did see the skateboard. And then he got our class advisor the next morning. And you know what? I'm standing there. I see the BM2 walk up to the chief, and I know. It's coming. Chief calls us all in together and absolutely reads us a riot act. Oh, he was mad. The thing he knew about was the skateboard and the noise. Get your shit in one sock or I'll get it in there for you. That is my best impression I can do of the chief. He was actually mad. Fort Hood needs that ass chewing so badly. Get your shit in one sock. Figure out what the fuck is going on down there. I should not be seeing the words Fort Hood in a headline and already know somebody's dead. This is ridiculous. There is actually no excuse for this. Figure it out. Not that kind of salt. And seaman means sailor. But moving right along. Hey, Luke, you're a little late. You missed Carrie acting like Carrie. I think Luke can testify to this. I have actually told people that they should. I have to watch what I'm about to say very carefully here, because YouTube will yeet the entire channel if I say it the way I say it. Somebody down there needs to find a permanent solution to their apparently permanent problem. There is no excuse for this. Figure it out. All right. I'm going to leave that subject for the moment. Move on. Something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and this is actually not so much for the sake of my followers as somebody else out there. There is a certain individual, and I'm not going to throw her under a bus. About a year and a half ago, I think it was. Maybe it was 2 years ago. This individual is connected to, the trans community. So some of you might figure out who it is just on that. Who is talking about how she's getting emails and private messages and even occasionally, I guess, public messages from people in certain parts of the world. And I don't know what parts of the world these are, but I can make some pretty educated guesses. They're gay, lesbian, trans, something else, and their lives are actually in danger. And that's the truth. And knowing what I know about these regions, to say their lives are in danger is an understatement. These are parts of the world where if you're even thought to be homosexual or not cis heterosexual, they may very well just kill you and not even bother with a trial. That has happened. All right. I happen to know that there is a few ways of helping these people out to get away from the threats. I'm also involved in a project that could use some help. And these two seem to dovetail very quickly. Oh dear. I just saw a flash on my screen, so somebody give me a... How about a K... No. KNF in the chat, so I know I'm still on. Well, I got something. Alpine asked what happened. And Alpine, plug your phone in, honey. Says I got 4 viewers. Can I get a KNF, guys, please? Okay. New names, Xeon. Gave me the first KNF that I saw. Caucasian Sasquatch is right behind it. If I edit a short, would you check it out if you like it? Yeah, of course. Oh, that reminds me, I've been meaning to do a straight play on all of your shorts. Damn it, one of these days I got to get around to that. I'm sorry, guys. I do fall behind. So, yeah. I'm like 3 weeks behind. And thank you for the KNFs. I know I'm still on. Moving on. So, in reference to the issue that unnamed individual brought up, my offer is simple. I will give you the pretext if you handle all of the logistics and the money, really. As for what your friends do after that, actually, it's kind of on you. Part of the offer is I will hire you for a salary of $1 a year at a absolute pretext job title. I mean, even an idiot at INS would look at this and say, this is sketchy as shit. And I will be sitting across that desk saying, okay, I've hired her. You want to see the canceled check? Well, I can't actually give you the canceled check, but I can give you a certified copy of it because that's the way my bank works. And as for everything else, yeah, they got a second job. What about it? It's not a full-time job. I don't have a full-time job for them. That is my offer. I hope you take it. Only 16 minutes in, guys. This is going to be a long day. I see that Sasquatch and Xeon apparently have some sort of previous contact, so I'm going to guess Xeon is not my little heckler. That's a shame. It was a new name. I was crossing my fingers. He won't come, but it was worth a shot. All right. Not on the description list. Southwest Airlines. It's not a secret that I am unvaccinated, and I will not be. I will not be bullied or cajoled or forced or any other type of abuse to get the vaccine. If I do it, I would do it because I chose to. As it is, I really should get a shingles vaccine. I had chickenpox as a kid. I had measles as a kid. Well, actually, I was a teen when I got chickenpox. Very strange. But anyway, Or was it measles I got as a kid? As a teenager. Whatever. I don't care. I'm pretty sure it's chickenpox that causes shingles. And I've had this constant itch in my lower back. I just assumed that it was all psychosomatic from when I was homeless. And maybe it is. Maybe it is shingles and it's just a very light case. Whatever. I could live with it either way. I really should get that vaccine, and I'm not doing it right now because I have this overwhelming concern that they're going to slip a second one in there. And now the supposedly most popular president in American history has gone on to say that he is mandating vaccines for any employer over 100, for any company with over 100 employees. Fortunately, I'm outside the scope of that particular mandate. Well outside, so cool beans. Flag on the play. That's not the whole story. The whole story is get a vaccine or get a weekly test. Neither of which is reasonable, but okay. We'll just go with it for now. Southwest Airlines has more than 100 employees for any one airport that they operate out of. You name it, I don't care. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how small the plane is. They do have some prop-driven planes. They still have more than 100 employees. Right? They've got, 15,000, I think? 20,000, somewhere in that region. They've got over 1,000 lead pilots alone, captains alone. That's a rather large workforce. Over the weekend, they had to cancel over 2,000 flights, ostensibly for weather. That's Southwest's story. That's the Pilots Association's president's story. They're playing very nice publicly. Privately, what was going on is kind of well understood, especially since it wasn't just pilots that had that didn't show up. Baggage handlers didn't show up. Cabin crews didn't show up. Ticket reps didn't show up. All these other categories. I have nothing to do. I don't give a fuck and have no reason to care about the weather. They didn't show up either. Oh, that's a very interesting detail. And it strikes everybody as very, very interesting as well. That Southwest had a problem with the weather. Delta, United, American. Of course, I don't think American's around anymore. Actually, Delta's not around anymore either. Yeah, American's still around. U.S. Airways, which is actually a federal contractor, so they're never going to go away. All of these other airlines didn't have this weather problem. How very mysterious. Very mysterious indeed. Okay, I'm going to take a little break from my rant. Squatch, Xeon, I apologize for whatever that is, whatever mistake I made there. Xeon, if you're that little heckler that I was talking about earlier, there's a link up in the pinned um, pinned message. If you're not, follow it anyway. I give a fuck. Alpine Gulch asked, who, what am I talking about? Since I've lost a little bit of time here, I'm going to say Southwest. And I'll come back to that last comment in a minute. All right. Nothing pisses people off like when you're lying to them and then you expect them to lie along with you. Okay. If I told all of you that this has got to be something that's so obviously a lie, you couldn't even, right? So, smoking is good for you. If I told you smoking is good for you, you should start smoking. All right? You would know that I'm lying to you. And the fact that I'm taking offense at you not believing me is going to piss you off. The fact that I'm actually sitting here telling you, no, it's actually good for you because it affects your blood pressure. It does. Smoking affects your blood pressure. Raises it, if I recall correctly. Here I am telling you, you should start smoking. It's good for you. And Xeon, our new guy, says, the fuck is your malfunction there, Carrie? Well, now I'm mad, or at least I'm feigning offense. How dare you tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about? Don't you know I'm an expert? I've been smoking since I was 18. I'm 45 now. I'll do the math later. I've been smoking since I was 18. Actually 12, but never mind that. I know more than you, and I'm telling you it's good for you, and you should be doing it too. Every last one of you would call me a liar, and the fact that I'm sitting here telling you a lie after you've called me out on it, it's going to get you mad, and eventually irate. You're not going to believe anything I say after a while. We are so far past that point that it's actually become rather sad. All right. It's like watching a 3-year-old saying, no, Dad, I didn't eat the cupcake with his face covered in frosting, except that's cute. It's a little kid who's lying to you when you can see it all over his face. When an adult does it to you, it's an insult to your intelligence because you know better. You're not that stupid. And the fact that you're telling the lie is just pissing them off. You have so little respect for that person that you're going to stand there and lie to them while they are calling you out on it and pretend to be upset that they're calling you out on your own lie. That is the problem with Southwest Airlines and the entire mandate. Southwest employees are tired of the lie. They're tired of the abuse. And they're tired of being told, you will lie with us or else. Now, it was just a one-day thing. Although some people are saying it's still going on. I don't know. That's news to me. But for one day, they made sure that everybody understood this has become a problem. Right. Squatch said that it's unconstitutional. Both involve my medical info. Nope. I don't share medical information with masked mystery people. Right. There are certain people you do have to share medical information with. I'm not one of them. You have to share your medical information with your doctor so that they can make an informed and intelligent decision. I have a heart murmur. It would probably be a good idea to tell that to my doctor in case he wants to give me a prescription for something that affects your heart. He might actually take an interest in the fact that I have a murmur. Oh, that's another reason I can't do the vax. I have a heart murmur, but that's totally separate. Whoever is actually cutting the check for medical treatment, they have a right to certain medical information. I could be telling my employer that I'm at a medical appointment right now, and oh yeah, by the way, could you cut me a check for $40 or $60 or whatever the hell medical time off is? I could do this every day of the year. I could do that literally every day of the year, and if they didn't have a right to verify that I had actually seen a doctor, well, what would be their incentive? Let's put it as simply as that. Whoever cuts the check does have a right to know that you saw a doctor and what it was about. Now let's talk about the masked mystery men. Anytime you have to wear a mask and not give your information as somebody demanding information from others, there's a problem. There's a big, big problem with that. And that's what we're seeing. All right. It's nameless, faceless bureaucrats who are demanding to know that you've been vaccinated or this or you're that or you're something else that they can track. No. The constitutionality of it is debatable. But the fact that they are demanding this information and they're not telling you who the hell they are, who the hell they represent or are working for, or why they want this information in a satisfactory fashion, that's become a real big problem. All right. Squatch said, lie and not only expect you to lie with them, but the other people around you to lie different lies than the lie they lie to you. I think I said that right. Okay. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. I know exactly where he's going. Just imagine, guys, if I were drunk right now, how I'd sound. You have one group being told to tell one lie. I'm going to do a little 1984 here. We have always been at war with Oceania. Group A of the Empire is being told to say, we have always been at war with Oceania. We will always be at war with Oceania. And then Group B is being told, we have never been told to say, we have never been at war with Oceania. We have always been friends with Oceania. And in 6 months, when Oceania is no longer the ally, they're literally going to change stories. And that's within one group. Now, I'm not sure what exactly Squatch is referring to there, and without him being in here, there's not much he can do to help clarify, but I've seen some of that as well. Zion asked, do you think COVID is a lie? No. I absolutely, totally, and completely, this is not sarcasm, this is not that reverse psychology shit. I believe, A, COVID-19 is a real thing. B, it is really, really dangerous. I believe if we hadn't have done the things we needed to do a year and a half ago, this could have been a global devastation event. Damn it, I'm out of coffee. We could have been looking at about 50% of the world population dead in 6 months. And at that point, it could have kept climbing up to as high as 90% of the world population. I think at about 90% is when it would have capped out. Yeah, COVID was a very real, a serious threat to humanity itself. The vaccines. I will never get the vaccine, and I have said that if anybody ever jabs me, they better hold me down and make sure I stay down. It better be a death shot. Because if I get back up, somebody is not going to see tomorrow. And it might be me. I'm okay with that. So, no. Okay. So, yeah, don't even bring that needle near me. Not only do I not like them, I'm not getting the vaccine I probably should be getting at my age, with my history, for my own comfort, because I'm afraid somebody's going to try to slip something else in there. This is a concern not without precedent. At least going the other direction, I can point to a specific case out of Germany. A nurse was arrested, and kind of rightfully so. She was paid to administer COVID vaccines. She administered saline instead. Okay, that's actually a problem. She was paid to do one thing, and she did something else. Whether these people were entirely voluntary or being coerced or something else, kind of secondary. The people that got the saline and knew they were getting the saline because they knew this was a really great scam, Nurse Gerhard won't actually give you the vaccine, but she'll give you a saline shot and a vaccine card, and you can get on with the rest of your life. Okay, those people put themselves in that position when she got caught. What do you want me to say? They can still claim innocence, but whatever. Oh, excuse me. The exact same idea can go the other direction. I go in for the shingles vaccine, and somebody, having heard about the Germany case, says, oh, I could slip something else in there. And that has me very scared, especially with my medical history, my murmur, which has actually gotten worse since it was discovered as I went into the military. I'm legitimately concerned that this might have a permanently adverse effect I'll have a heart attack. So, yeah, I'm not doing it. If you think you need to get one, go and do it, please, by all means. There is a person that I'm thinking of. I've got her face in front of my head mentally. I have her face in front of my head, who probably should get the vaccine. She is extremely high risk. A bad flu could permanently affect her life. I don't like the fact that she would be getting it, but if she does, I would totally understand. And she's not an adult yet. There's a lot of really weird things floating around out there, and I'm going to address a few of them. One is a claim of a contaminant in the supply chain. Now, I actually have no proof, no evidence that this contaminant is there. The fact that the question has been raised, though, needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed honestly. Just directly and forthrightly. This could be a very limited batch. It could be as few as 10 vials. Or it could be as much as an entire company's inventory. And if this contaminant is what they think it is, it could have some permanent and absolutely destructive results. Results that, generally speaking, would target women far in excess of men. I'm just saying that's the kind of contaminant it might be. I'm not saying it is out there. I'm saying this needs to be investigated and discovered and tracked down. We need a whole lot more honesty in this story than we're getting. The Southwest Airlines example really is pointing out just how ridiculous the line has gotten. For those of you that at least caught part of it, Joe Biden was in front of another airline. I can't remember who. Maybe it was Southwest. I don't remember now. I don't care either. He's standing there bragging about how this company got 98, I think it is, 99, something like that, % compliance. He's not telling you is that they ended up firing about a third of the company, laying off with no promise of return to employment to a third of the company. That's not 98% compliance. That's 60%. Let's go 75. 75% compliance and 25% fired. That's coercion of probably the worst possible sort. Guys, I do this just to piss off Susan, right? Because I know they can't see it. It's the truth. For those of you that remember when Yiz came on, Yiz was actually working on a true vape. Yeah, a true vape. That was borderline. Because there could have been anything in that vape. including pure water. This is just so much more fun. All right. Whole lot more honesty in this world would go a whole long way. Here's the absolutely ridiculous part. All right. Joe Biden might actually have won legitimately the election. That could have happened. I cannot look you all in the eye and say, there is no way in hell that happened. I can look you all in the eye and say, there are too many questions getting asked and no answers being given. It has actually less to do with the pure results and a whole lot more to do with the circumstances around those results. You say, most popular president of all time, and we're looking at people literally screaming, let's go, Brandon, at auto races, at football games, at baseball games. That might have been the baseball game may have been the only example, but it happened. High school events. And you're telling me that this guy got something like 80 million votes, which just happens to be more than Donnie got in the previous election? Step up and own it. What really happened? Right? We're not believing anything you say at this point. And that's actually the bigger problem. We know we were lied to. We know we were repeatedly lied to. We know people went out of their way to avoid answering those questions. Pretty sure there's a... Yeah, okay. Xeon, I'm going to pick on you for a second. A few minutes ago, Xeon said, you think COVID is a lie? Now, that's a simple, direct, no frills question. And here I am. Now I'm just, well, COVID is a virus that is believed to have originated in Wuhan, China. Y'all know I don't believe that, but whatever. Believed to have originated in Wuhan, China. It is a coronavirus possibly that transferred from bats to armadillos to humans by people eating the armadillos. And not actually say yes or no. And I do this for months. And let's assume that I am considered the top expert. I'm the one that everybody, at least in the United States, is turning to and saying, what the hell's going on? Tell us. We need to know. And I'm not answering you directly, and I'm not even trying to answer you directly. And now putting it back into the original context is people are saying, we want to know how it is that an election that seemed pretty much closed before it started suddenly went the other direction. And on top of that, just happened to go the other direction by just over what the previous election looked like, which the previous one was one of those weird once-in-a-lifetime blowouts. Nobody saw that coming. And now you're telling us that it blew out the other direction? Especially with the other things that were going on around it, like 5 impeachment inquiries, 2 actual impeachment proceedings that went nowhere, and you're telling us that this is your story? We're having some real trouble believing you here. Show us your math. Okay. I happen to love using math as a metaphor. The simplest equation in the world is mx plus b equals y. And I am telling you all that y is 2. And m is 1. And just trust me, brah, the y was, and the x was 1, and b is 1. Just trust me, brah. That's the way it is. Okay. You can independently verify that the m really was 1. Great, good. You are being told that y is 2. But you're not being allowed to see anything in between. Maybe the y really is 2. But in between, there's absolutely questions. Questions like how 83,000 pieces of paper that should not have been collected and should not have been read. Nice, right, guys? Ended up getting collected and read. Why? But telling me that Joe won Arizona by another 99 votes, not that it would have changed the real outcome. He got all of the Arizona Electoral College votes. Just trust me. It's still a 2. Oh, excuse me. All right. Squatch said, when questions are asked, the questioner is publicly disgraced. Good. I'm okay with being humiliated and degraded publicly because you know what? I can take a lot more abuse than you'll ever be able to dish out. Alpine Gulch has a technical question. Computer is stuck on restart for 1 hour after an update. How do I fix that? The only thing I would say, Gulch, is take the battery out, leave it out for about an hour, and try rebooting it. That doesn't do you any good. You need somebody with a lot more expertise than I do. You have a bad update. And Squatch was trying to help her out. So yeah, I know that there's a few people out there who know my real name. They could reach out to me if they wanted to, and very, very publicly drag me, and I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is other people getting dragged with me. Fortunately, the two whose safety concerns me are sufficiently anonymous that it's good luck finding them. The third, whose physical safety worries me. How do I put this politely? I think he wants that fight. And I think whoever tries that fight with him is actually going to pray for death. Yeah. That is an individual whose ability to kill me has me legitimately, has my legitimate attention. We're tired of getting lied to. We're tired of being told that We're stupid for not believing the lies. And we are really, really tired of being abused for the lie we're not telling. Those of you who are parents, you've had at least one time in your life as a parent when something occurred. You turned to your kids and said, who did it? Or how did you do this? Or whatever it was you said. And I've been here, I've done this, that's how I know. And your kid said, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. Right? And you punished them for something they actually didn't do. And then you put them in the corner, you spanked them, you whatever. And here they are, here you are a couple hours later, realizing, oh, could not have done that. My son, daughter, could not have done that because they were at school then, or whatever. They were at school at the time. You have to go to your son and say, I screwed up. I'm sorry. This is on me. The weird part is most people will eventually forgive you for that. Your kids will forgive you by the end of the day as long as you step up and say, I screwed up. What they will never, ever forgive is you punish them for a lie they didn't tell. And even when you knew better, you didn't go to them and say, I'm sorry, I screwed up. Little life lesson for you. I'm still ridiculously bitter and angry at the media in general. Because through the 90s, I'm hearing about gangbangers shooting up whole neighborhoods with assault weapons. Even at the time, I knew, wait a second, those wouldn't be assault weapons. Those would be rifles. Well, maybe there's something they did to it that made it illegal. They illegally converted an AK-47 from semi-auto only to automatic. Okay, that could have happened. And they're shooting up whole neighborhoods. And they're killing everybody in sight. And then flash forward about 10 years. And now I'm seeing that the FBI is saying, no, that's not what happened. That the kind of guns you're talking about were used in less than 1%. And as far as we can tell, were never modified. These are not the people that know how to do that. Oh. Big key on that. For those of you that remember the 90s, Dianne Feinstein standing there holding an AK-47, civilian version, with the drum mag. And I even remember when I saw this at the time, she's holding it like this with the crowd in front of her. She's flagging the entire fucking crowd as if it was nothing. Gets worse. Let's talk about the lie within that. Drum mags are bad. This has been tested over and over and over again. I don't even know why we have to go here. But she put a drum mag in it because it looked bigger and scarier. No other reason than that. I didn't know this at the time. But gangbangers did know. Drum mags suck. They always jam. That's actual words of a gangbanger from that era. Those things suck. They always jam. Oh, you guys knew that and I didn't. Okay, well, shows how much I knew. But that's what she wanted you to see. That was the lie she was willing to tell to terrorize you into doing what she wanted. All right. I'm going to get off of that for a minute. Hopefully. New channel. I have decided that I am going to start a new channel. I might have mentioned this last week and forgot. It's actually out there already. There's two of them. Beyond Mandatory Carry is everything that doesn't actually come under mandatory carry. These are anything that I find fun or that covers subjects outside of mandatory carry. Coronavirus will continue to be under it because there is a section in Daetlsov that says, yeah, no. A lot of the shit we've been doing, we can't be doing no more. Abstentively, what its purpose is to say that the state cannot come down and tell you have to wear body armor in place of carrying a gun. But yeah, you know what it's really about. So, I've actually got the first video up. I think it's still in an unlisted mode. I should probably go back and fix that. And there's going to be a lot of videos up there that are permanently unlisted, a couple of private ones. That's for a relatively small group of people. So, that's coming. And enjoy the ones that are public. All right. We are at the halfway point. So I'm going to stop sharing the chat for a minute and share a different screen. That one. All right, let me make sure that went through. Good. And I'm going to have to actually, let's try fixing it that way. Let's try that one again. Because believe it or not, I want you guys to see this. Move. Stop screen. Share. Screen. That one. I swear I'm not a boomer, guys. There we go. All right, Daetlsov Act, Title II, General Provisions, Section 2, Intention of Act. Okay, good. The intention of this act is to provide a framework for the enforcement of the act by law enforcement of the United States and for lawful obedience to the act by residents of the United States. The people of the United States shall not be held hostage to antisocials being by description criminals, ignore gun laws. All legal residents of the United States are required at all times, when not in their home or temporary domiciles, possess a weapon as defined below. I get a few extra minutes. I'll go into definitions. There we go. There we go. Alpine Gulch wants to know, how many gigabytes does this live stream use? I have no way of knowing, honey. I'm sorry. And now I have to be able to see it. Right. The intention of the act is to provide a framework for enforcement. Sorry, guys. The cop on the street is going to say, hey, how do I do this thing? Do I arrest them? Do I write them a ticket? Do I chastise them loudly? What do I do? That is the purpose. It also gives a little bit of the scope of who is covered. All legal residents of the United States. Tourists are not covered. Foreign diplomats are not covered. And it's all legal residents. So you see somebody walking around not armed, maybe he's concealed carry. Maybe he's good. Maybe something else is going on. Either way, it would be a red flag to every cop for a mile around. Who is that guy and why doesn't he have a gun? Let's go talk to him. Okay. Sorry, Gulch. I'll try not to do that. That's just a habit of mine from growing up, actually. So yes, that's the purpose, is to give cops an idea of where to go and how to get there. That's also why those definitions are so important, and why it was so important to set definitions that could not be impeached later. In definitions, there's a very distinct separation between assault weapon and machine gun, right? During World War I, basically everything was either a bolt-action rifle or machine gun. There was no in-between zone, because they didn't understand that there was going to be a difference ever. The closest they ever got was submachine gun. That's a machine gun that fires a pistol cartridge. Oh, okay. That's a really clear distinction. Well, actually, now we know it's not that big of a distinction, but we'll come back to that later. There wasn't a reason to worry about making any further distinctions at the time. Also back then, the words jet and rocket were entirely synonymous. A rocket has a jet that comes out the back to move it forward. And you can rocket away from a source of something without being in it. Today, you would never ever call an F-18 fighter a rocket. It wouldn't occur to you. And you would never call a Saturn V a jet. Also would not occur to you. because those two different concepts now do have a very real distinction between them. Under Daetlsov, machine guns are going to be restricted, and I'm actually kind of negotiable on that one. Let's get to that eventually. Assault weapons are restricted. I'm a little less negotiable about that. There's ways you could get a real M16 or a real AK-47. You'll have to go through a couple more hoops. Yeah, you'll have to fill out one piece of paper and pay a fee equivalent to the actual cost of processing. That's it. For those of you that have gotten this $200 stamp, $200 class 3 license, you're not getting that money back. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. After that, though, yeah, you actually would have your driver's license. You walk into the gun store, you put your license down because you're going to have to show them that eventually anyway, and you say, I would like an M16. They run your driver's license and it says class 3 approved. Okay. What do you want? You know, Armalite, Colt, Ruger, whoever. Oh, I want a Ruger. Do the thumbprint, literally just pay for the processing fee. It's, oh, excuse me, shouldn't be over about $5, and you walk out the door. It is literally going to be that simple. Now, somebody like me who doesn't have a class 3, I walk in, I hand over my driver's license, say I want an AK-47. He runs it. He says, I'm sorry, I can't sell you that. Why not? Because you're not class 3. Oh, but. Nope, I can't do it. Now, I might be able to sell you a semi-auto variant like a Vishka. Try not to laugh too hard. I can, yeah, like a Vishka. Oh, well, what's the difference? Well, it's semi-auto only. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Oh, okay, here you go. But until then, it is what it is. That brings an interesting detail. You're walking around with an actual M16, and a cop stops you and says, I want to see your information. How would they then understand if you have the authority or you have the right to carry that, especially in public? They'd run your driver's license and, oh, this guy's class 3. Here you go. Have a nice day. They also have to know what to not do. It's kind of an important detail. To answer Alpine Gulch, for those of you that, for all who care and a few who don't, Squatch has a channel, same name, Caucasian Sasquatch. He has a series about Odin meeting people from today. He just dropped a new one in the series called Satan's Guest List. I have a bad feeling I'm going to regret watching that later. Okay. We're only at an hour and 15 minutes, so get started with some questions, guys. And since the subject has come up, I'd like to give a plug to a couple of other channels. I was almost late today because Exiled Lioness dropped a video, I guess Monday? I think it was Monday. She did a live stream, more to the point, and I didn't know anything about it until this morning. Go give her a check. Go check her out. For those of you that know, this is a very significant person. She is a Muslim. She was living in New York on 9/11. She's talked about that. I'm not giving away any secrets. And basically, she had to go into hiding for about a month. Matter of fact, because she speaks very fluent Spanish, she says her Spanish is better than her English, so her English is pretty good, so her Spanish must be perfect. Her English is really good. She didn't tell you that it was less than perfect. You wouldn't notice. There, I said it. So her Spanish must be legitimately perfect. For about a month, she had to try to pass herself off as Hispanic because there were people that were really going to kill her. I remember 9/11 and thinking, oh, fuck. This is going to blow up. This is going to blow up. It didn't occur to me there were a whole lot of Muslims actually living in New York City, of all places at the time. That didn't occur to me. And at the time, I was living across the street from a Muslim chapel. So, yeah, it should have occurred to me. It didn't. Now, where I was living, they didn't go into hiding. But I do remember, now that I think back about it, that first Friday, street was clear. Friday on the street was always horrible because there were people going to and coming out from chapel. They'd have the street blocked up. They'd block my driveway, which always pissed me off. That was the worst of the neighborly relations at the time. I hope it stayed the same, even though I moved away a long, long time ago. And that's, of course, the fact that there was a cop 24/7 for the first week or so. I remember seeing him down there and knowing exactly why he's there. Yeah, okay. That's cool. I get it. He was there to make sure that somebody didn't try something. And then for the first Friday, street was clear. Yeah, I get it. They don't want to come in this week. Alpine Gulch is asking for a link. Oh, Squatch, drop a link to Satan's guest list. Actually, do that for me too. I'll check it out later. Matter of fact, Squatch, can you drop a link for the entire playlist as well? Okay, good. So yeah, anyway, go check out Exiled's channel. She talks a lot about conservative issues, but what got my attention after it was kind of forced on me, and I admit that, I admit that, was a video where she talks about how it was safer to be a Muslim on 9/11 than it was to admit to being a Trump supporter. Oh, there's literally a city of people surrounding you that want to kill you for something you actually had nothing to do with. And that was a safer time in your life than admitting that you were a Trump supporter. That's a jarring statement. And that's the one that got my attention. Oh, excuse me. Gulch, you're right. I should do that. Give me a second, guys. You might hear some noise. Anyway, yeah, she did a live stream last Monday, and I didn't know about it until this morning. And Squatch, how about you drop those links that I asked you about too? Okay, there we go. Yep. Another one is regular guy guns. Yeah, regular guy guns. Regular guy guns is not a veteran, all right, or at least that's they're presenting themselves as having never served, and they're thinking more along the lines of what 90% of us have the experience and technical capabilities for. You should probably check out some of their videos. I like them. They do reviews. That's what it comes down to. Squatch here has a channel that he will drop a link for, hopefully sometime today. Oh dear. Something just went funny. All right, so I got to do that to make sure that that's okay. All right, everything's fine. Sorry, guys, the chat window suddenly blinked, and I thought I'd lost it. Oh, good. The poll's getting used. That's not the answer I thought was going to be popular, but okay. Good to know. Where was I? And the other channel that I really want to give a shout out to, Ghost Tactical. He's been in the chat before. This isn't a secret. Trey is a former Marine. If I understand correctly, he was a Marine at the same time Fixed Bayonets was a Marine. So they may have crossed paths at some point. Probably not, but it could have happened. Fix, after boot camp, I know she ended up at Camp Pendleton before she deployed and after she came back. They may have actually crossed paths at some point. Great, good for them. He's now a YouTuber. He does about a 2-hour rap session with Clover Tack. Clover is not my favorite person on earth. All right. I don't hate him. I just don't. He's not my favorite person on earth, but fucking love Trey. So, Alpine Gulch says she does not see a poll. It's the blue box at the top of the chat. So you might have to do it after the chat or after the stream. I'm sorry, that's the best answer I can give you. Okay, there we go. So those are the three I want to give the shout out for. And you know, you're right. All right, so that should be the right one for regular guy guns. And yeah, well, it wasn't going to be that easy, was it? There it is. Yeah, Squatch, you can drop a link too. You've got a wrenchy. There it goes. All right, that last one is Squatch's channel. Excuse me. Damn. All right. A plea to everybody. I know most of my videos are kind of old now. I am asking you to share my channel intro. It was originally by Arm Americans. They abandoned their entire effort. Before they ran out the door, walked out the door and turned off the lights. They did give me permission to use that video. Thank you. Share that link. I want to get the channel up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. All right. It's not about the monetization. Because if I monetize the channel, probably going to give the money to Ghost or another project that I'm involved in. And I admit I'm involved in that. Not going to keep it. There's just no point. I'm never going to make enough off this channel to quit my day job, so what would be the point of keeping the rest? It does affect algorithms, And more importantly, it affects your ability to, well, it affects what you can put up. I can't put memes in the community tab until I hit 1,000. That sucks. I actually have a really good one for the subjects that came up this week, specifically Joe as he looks now, nice and proper and looking like a businessman, ironically enough. And Joe in 4 years looking like Overdog from, God damn it, what the hell is the name of that movie? Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Man, that is an absolutely true statement. He didn't even need 4 years. He didn't need 1 year to start already looking like it. DMs here? I can... First of all, I can't see him, but sure. There we go. Yeah. Danger Mouse. He is here. Well, there you go. Didn't mean to blow his cover. For what it's worth, the individual who's the cause of me having that link is also a lurker, but it's not Voss. Yeah, I know. He's saying he's always lurking, and yeah, I know. Voss being here is one of the ones I wouldn't even think to question. The fact that he's lurking is also... He's told me that on Discord, so what am I going to cry about? Okay. This week, as I was setting up this live stream last night, getting the last little things out of the way, the invitations and stuff, I discovered anybody can do a poll in their live streams. Hey, cool, great. I started doing it. I'm going to try to remember to do it every week. This week, the poll question is, should I do the second live stream Wednesday or Thursday night? The timing, it's 1 hour before an average West Coaster would get off of work. It's 3 hours after an average East Coaster would get off of work. So there's a little bit of a time difficulty there, right? And y'all just have to figure out, the West Coasters will just have to be late. You East Coasters will just have to wait until it comes up and then bounce out early. It is what it is, guys. There's not a whole lot I can do without going some really weird and unpleasant directions. I don't really want to fight with people that I think of fondly, like Drew or Ghost, Trey, or Exiled, or any of the others. But at some point, I've just got to say, well, you know, I've got to do what I got to do, and sorry, guys. Yeah, no, Luke, it only counts as actually lurking if you don't say anything at all. You know, like our mutual acquaintance. Gulch does not like my shirt. Hey! He looked nothing like that guy. Matter of fact, this is a hooded sweatshirt from, and this is not an ad, you do what you want with this information, from Gear Human, American Revolutionary Soldier. I also have a Civil War soldier in the hooded sweatshirt and in the short sleeve. That was the one I was wearing all summer long because I don't have the short sleeve for this. No, Luke, it's too late. We know you're here. Actually, Luke, I think that our mutual acquaintance logs out to watch it just so he can't accidentally get caught. Either that or he has another name. That's actually who I thought Xeon was for a minute. I accept things said at face value. I was actually really hoping Xeon was our mutual friend, but he's not. And that sucks. But oh well, I'm over it. By the way, this shirt was chosen, these shirts were chosen because they're blue. Blue shirt campaign. A very minor housekeeping issue, and I think I'm going to get ready to wrap it up since asshole isn't coming. And I know I've said this before. I'm going to start a Teespring store. I'm having some difficulty getting it set up. I'd set it up, the shirts up, and then for some reason they're not saving. I don't know what it is. I also was able to work out the pricing for them to be 1/100th of a euro for 2 models and nothing for the other 2 models for my profit. I'm not doing this because I want to make money. All right. I'm doing it so I can order the shirts for myself. That's about the time that you will start to see me wearing something other than these. All right. I know everybody's sick of seeing them. And I'm kind of tired of wearing them myself. But I have to wear something. It is what it is. Drew, Gulch, because I would have to stream at the same time Drew is on. And that's not something I really look forward to. I know there's something between you and him that I don't know what it is or what happened or anything. It's a total surprise to me. But I'm still on good terms with him. And it is what it is. A small sort of appeal. If any of you have experience with making Teespring work, please drop me an email. I'll basically hand the store over to you, and at least for a little while. And you know what? If you have a PayPal or something, I'll actually pay you for it. You'll be paid for making me no money at all. That's kind of an interesting one, isn't it? Squatch wants to know, but what if I use 5 devices to watch and lurk on all of them? I have no idea. I think it'll mean that they'll tell me I have 8 viewers when I only have 3. Pretty sure that's it. All right, if we're not going to have any questions, y'all are going to make me cry. I am going to do something real quick. And I'm not going to share the screen, but I am just going to read it. For next week, I'm going to be going over definitions. Get my computer to work. There we go. Right, general definitions: firearm, any weapon that launches one or more projectiles or energy driven by the action of an explosive or energizing force. Pistols and handguns, any firearm without a stock intended to be used to be operated by one hand. Long arm, any firearm with a stock or intended to be fired from the shoulder, for which the barrel shall be 16 inches in length or greater, and overall 26 inches or greater. Shotgun, any smoothbore firearm intended to discharge a number of smaller projectiles, for which the barrel shall be 18 inches in length or greater, and overall length of 26 inches or greater. Assault weapon, this is an important one. Any firearm fed by a magazine detachable without the use of tools, capable of discharging by design alone 2 or more rounds per singular trigger activation. Machine gun, any firearm fed by continuous feed system. The difference: assault weapon, to fully qualify, has to have a detachable magazine and an automatic or burst fire capability. It doesn't have to be selective fire. It can be automatic only, like the damn it, it's my favorite example too. It is a French gun, and I will find it again, but it was issued to the French Foreign Legion in Indochina, so that might help you out. Those had no selective fire capability. The selective fire was you released the trigger. That's it. And a good man could get off 1 or 2 shots. It also didn't have a safety. The safety was the magazine would flip up and away from the gun so that it couldn't feed. Not necessarily the best idea, but it actually did work out for them. Versus a machine gun, the only definition is continuous feed. If you can keep the rounds flowing into that gun or the munition, and where I'm really going with this, someday we're going to get past gunpowder. Where we're going to go, I actually don't know yet, but one of the real options is lasers. And if you plug your laser pistol into a outlet by modifying it, you would have a machine gun. That does not make a whole lot of sense. I acknowledge this fact, but it would work. Autocannon, any machine gun of .50 caliber, 12.7 by 99 millimeter or larger. Rotary gun, any rotary multi-barrel machine gun, regardless of caliber. If you build a 22 caliber steampunk Gatling gun that is hand cranked, still a rotary gun. all other weapons. Any firearm that does not match a classification herein contained shall require an all other weapons permit and registration. Such permits shall be issued upon completion of a standard NCIC background check without discovery of an exclusion. All peace officers shall be issued a Class 3 permit without other restrictions. And see, that's part of the reason I do this. I just realized that under AOW, since it might be something that contravenes all of the other definitions, it might be a new and experimental thing, and I should probably address that. All right. Body armor. Body armor refers to all protective clothing designed to absorb and or deflect attacks by weapons. That is specifically listed to make sure that nobody can try to turn around and say, "What, you can have a gun, but you can't have body armor, or you can't have them both at the same time." No, it specifically says the exact opposite. Other protective gear, personal protective equipment. Any gear or garment worn to protect against contamination, infection, or injury not caused by a firearm, not caused by a weapon. Handheld. Weapons meant to be held in an average human's hand without expelling a projectile or projected energy. In other words, brass knuckles. Armor penetrator. Any munition proven to penetrate military-grade personal body armor in 9 out of 10 shots, in 9 out of 10 tests. You want to claim this is armor penetrator, you better prove it. This is actually intended to protect consumers. Certain ranges will not allow steel core ammo because it's an armor penetrator, even though it's not. It has that steel core, so it's assumed to be an armor penetrator, even though it's not. Suppressor or silencer, any device intended to reduce the noise or noises created by any weapon. Magazine, any device intended for the holding of munitions. Magazines of less than 10 round capacity may not be used in long arms except for maintenance and repair purposes, using any type of inert or round, or for storage in empty status, or regulated competition shooting during an organized event. In short, you cannot walk around town with a 10-round mag in your AR-15. That would be illegal, unless you're taking it to the armorers. Barrel shroud. Any components installed on a firearm or other ranged weapon solely to protect the barrel or like components. The forward stock on an AR-15 is not a barrel shroud. It's not to protect the gun. It's to protect you. It's also a scary word, because if you call it a forward stock, people will say, well, no, that's just part of the stock. Why would you want to restrict that? But if you say barrel shroud, it makes it sound like it's hiding it or protecting it or some shit like that. And because people that were saying those things don't know what the fuck they were talking about. Forward stock. Any covering or extension of a firearm or other ranged weapon intended to protect the user from the effects of the weapon, regardless if it protects the weapon or not. A ban on forward stocks would ban muskets, because every musket had a forward stock. It's literally called the forestock. But part of this is alien. PPE, personal protective equipment. Any article worn on the body designed to protect the wearer from injury other than a weapon or infection. That's the second thing I should probably get around to fixing. Probably not the first time I've said that. Okay, so that's the definitions really quickly. Alpine Gulch asked, what do you think of Gabby being throttled? This is the first I'm hearing. Clue me in. On the other hand, I'm going to assume Gabby means Gabby Tulsi. I don't like any traitor. There, I said that. And yes, I know she served. So did Benedict Arnold. Squatch, thank you for that information. I will reach out to him after the stream. And I'm a little behind because I was reading off the other one. So, yeah. You guys don't suck. You just don't have questions. You should always have questions. You should always have doubts. Here's a really strange question that I've never been asked and I've always wanted. Where did you get this distinction between machine gun and assault weapon? And where did you get this definition of assault weapon that's, because everybody knows it's a political term, right? And it's so broad. Now, I know Gulch and Squatch and Luke know the answer to that question. You guys have been around for a while. So you've heard me answer that. Other people have never heard that answer. They should be asking, where did you get that from? I've never heard that before. Gulch asked about the girl murdered in Wyoming. I'm going to assume you mean the one who's famous now and her boyfriend's on the run. It's another murder. To me, it's nothing more than another probably domestic violence murder. And it's quite unfortunate that she's dead. And if she'd had pepper spray or brass knuckles or something, she might not be dead now. Okay, Squatch said, we all knew she was murdered, the YouTuber Gabby. Okay, so shows you how much attention to this case I'm giving. I had no idea. Well, I had no idea that was her name. Yes, I heard about the case. There's nothing I can do about it. It's unfortunate. And when they find that boyfriend, I hope he's still alive so he can stand trial. That's the most I think about it. I also think about the hundreds of cases of other people who disappeared, who were not famous, not even known of, and nobody heard about. Just saying. Okay, Alpine Gulch says, Uzi ended that terminology, machine gun. No, it's still very much used and is a very real thing. The legal definition of machine gun is obsolete. The term itself is very much a real, measurable thing. Oh, yes, Gulch, throttle, as Squatch says here, is to grab by the throat. I'm actually going to do it a little bit. You'll hear it in my voice. And then squeeze. And you just keep squeezing until they stop breathing. And Squatch said, until dead. No, there's, unfortunately, I can tell you that there are other uses for throttling. Those other uses must be by a professional or somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. And it's done in the movies all the time. And, oh yeah, those are actually professionals. They know how hard to squeeze to get the voice effect the director's looking for without an actual injury. To be perfectly blunt, really good and great actors will leave a mark when they go to do it. They'll actually leave a mark. It'll sit there for about an hour, and most throttling shots in a film, it's a one take. So generally speaking, what the director will do is he'll sit there and he'll film them just with the hand on the throat, see what it looked like at this angle, that angle, this other angle. And then one shot from whichever angle looks best when you take your hand off. And that's when the attacker will actually squeeze down, leave the marks. You got the shot, call cut, everybody walks away. And usually, two actors have to walk away as well because they might be some butt hurt, might be some self-embarrassment. So you both walk away for a little while, cool off. Yeah. Thank you, Squatch. Oh, yes. Yes, Gulch. I know how much pressure to apply, and I'm just not going to say any more than that. All right. Actually, we just hit 5 minutes till, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Luke, I got to take that away from you, bud. This might have been a situation that just came so hard and fast that she didn't see it coming, or she didn't actually see this part coming. And there's a possibility that it might have been, but no, I'm not going to push this. I don't want to write his defense for him, especially since he's on the run, which indicates guilt. There might have been more to it than that. Oh my God, TMI. Well, sorry. Gulch, I really recommend you not follow Beyond Venture Carry channel. There's going to be a whole lot more of that kind of TMI. This is also going to be cute puppy video. And one of the only one I think that's uploaded right now is Horse, about a week before we had to put him down. His favorite food on earth was split pea. I don't understand why. Luke has made an interesting observation. Okay, if she had a brain, she wouldn't have dated that POS. He may be right. There may have been and how do I put this up? She got involved with somebody that she shouldn't have, and that is very unfortunate. And yes, I've mentioned some of this stuff in the past, not all of it. Believe me, DM Foss doesn't even know the half of it, and he knows about me running guns to California. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I did. Not for the first time. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Please give the stream a like, and please, please, please share the intro video. I'm still trying to get up to that 1,000 subscribers so I can start uploading memes. All right, until next week, keep calm and manage to carry on.